Hey everybody, welcome to another exciting episode of Aquaponics on the Budget. Uh, been going all day, so excuse the outfit. But first thing I wanted to remind y'all about what I said the other day in our in one of my videos, the spring seed series, and oh, Anna's bringing something. The spring seed series is okay. Well, she's trying to find the worm for me so I could have a display of the worm, but because today's subject's on worms. But what I said was, if you get flushed during the aquaponics system, if the aquaponics system flushes, be the first in the comments. You can't do it in the live chat because I won't know who's first in the live chat. In the comments, be the first to say, I was flushed by GoForGreenLiving, and I'm going to send you some seeds. So it just be random seeds, whatever I'm planting at the time. Just something I'll share. Anyway, remember that I just got flushed by GoForGreenLiving, so I think that'd be pretty cool. So anyway, let's get to our topic about worms in your aquaponics. Now, everybody knows that worms do really well in your dirt because they fertilize it, they aerate it, that's two awesome things right there. They fertilize and aerate it, and I'm sure they do a lot more to it. They break it up, and they loosen it up. So it's just so many benefits when having worms in the ground. And you might ask, well, what's the importance, or what would be the benefit of having worms in your aquaponics system? Now, let's talk about the basics. What do worms do? They're eating decaying, they're eating dirt, they're processing dirt, they're eating decayed vegetable materials and stuff like that, so that they can. What? Closer to the camera? Okay, I'm sorry. She wants me to get closer to the camera, so I'm gonna move the ladder just a little bit. Wow, I feel close there. So anyway, the worms. What would be the importance of having worms in your aquaponics system? Wouldn't they drown or something like that? You might think. I guess everybody didn't hear me before when I was saying that, if you hear the aquaponics flush, be the first in the comments, not the chat, but in the comments to say, I got flushed by GoForGreenLiving, and I'm going to send you some seeds. They'll just be random seeds, something that I'm planting in. So, okay. Anyway, but we're talking about worms and the importance of worms in your soil. Now we're seeing the other side of it. What's the importance of worms in your aquaponics? And why would you want worms there? Well, worms in your soil, they're after decaying vegetation. They don't want anything live or anything like that. They just want to go get the decaying material out of the soil. So that's what they're looking for, is the decaying material. So in your aquaponics system, old roots, old plants, if some of the solids from the decaying algae, some of the solids that got loose from your system and went into the grow beds, they would enjoy that. I know that sounds disgusting to us, but it's a worm. So anyway, they clean out your aquaponics. They help maintain your aquaponics, and I know any worm will do it. I use red wigglers, and some people call them Alabama jumpers. But they're red worms about this big, and they eat. They're grown in rabbit manure. They like a lot of compost. So that's the kind I use in my system. But any worm would work in your system. I mean, I just can't imagine an earthworm this big finding a very good life in your aquaponics. And now I have all my beds, all my grow beds, they have worms in them. And these grow beds, they flood and drain, you know, on a constant basis. Every 18 minutes, they'll flood and drain, flood and drain. So you think, why don't the worms, you know, drowning? And then you have these dead worms all in there. Well, the water is so oxygenated that the worms will just breathe the water too, or they'll hold their breath. I mean, because think about what happens underground. You know, that when there's a flood rain, you know, they're underground, they're getting saturated, soaked. I mean, probably the point where there's no air at all underground when the ground gets so saturated. But then you look and there's still worms. You know, I mean, sometimes they just don't want to live in pure water, and they'll climb out and they'll climb up on your, try to find a high ground to go. So when it's been raining too long. But as far as a flush system like this, draining and flooding and draining and flooding, they don't complain, they don't mind it a bit. Okay, besides cleaning out your aquaponics, you know, cleaning between the rocks, cleaning up old roots, old decaying matter, the old, the algae that builds up on the rocks, or, you know, just cleaning out your aquaponics, which is like super awesome. And they're leaving, I know they're leaving stuff because they're eating and they're leaving waste material behind. And, you know, we happen to know something, the plants love that material. So your plants will cling to that and clean it out also. And most of the time, that floats will work its way up to the top and can be easily cleaned off the top of the rock. So I've done it, you know, maybe once or twice a year. Say getting a buildup of worm on the top of the rocks, I'll clean it out and I'll put in, you know, some of my other plants that really want to flourish. So, all right, so that's your positive reasons for wanting worms in your aquaponics. You know, they're going to be like these little working machines cleaning it at all times. So if you can walk away, you know, more so that you're not, you know, a slave to your aquaponics system. Because I work on my aquaponics system every day. You know, I work on it. I do something. I adjust this. I float this. I clean up this. I change plants this. You know, but it isn't much. Sometimes I'll spend a couple hours out here working. You know, when I don't have something pressing or it's pouring rain, I'll come in here and I'll just work and you know, work in aquaponics. I love it. But you know, there's other jobs in Homestead. But for the most part, maybe 15 minutes a day I spend working on this aquaponics. And you see, there isn't much. You know, it's doing quite well. Actually, I need to take out some of those bigger plants because they're just growing over the aquaponics and down on the ground and across the ground. And I think, okay, this has gone a little ridiculous. It's growing a little too well. So I have to clean out some of that mint, which we're going to pick a place and have a nice, big, huge mint bed, which will be awesome. So, you know, I know. And we actually want to grow enough mint to distill it and to get the oil out of it, because that's just something we have an abundance of. That, the stinging nettle, and well, several herbs, oregano, you know, but then none of that's important. We grow enough basil also. So anyway, I'm just you know, going through the benefits of the worms and the vermiculture. It's called vermiculture in your aquaponics system. Besides the cleaning and the fertilizing of the plants and stuff like that, they keep, you know, things from getting compacted in there. Even though it's just gravel, or if you're using the clay balls, it'll still compact and it'll still build up in areas, and it'll keep from anaerobic. You don't know what anaerobic is? Anaerobic is where solids or waste, or, you know, solids from the plants, solids from you know, different, you know, just from fish poop, that's where they built up in an area and it's not circulating in that area anymore, and it's growing the wrong kind of bacteria in that, and it becomes anaerobic, and that anaerobic won't grow anything. So your worms, if they see an area like that start to develop, they thinking, hey, lunch, and they're heading right there to it. They're heading to that potentially anaerobic area. You know, you see people working off plants all the time where they've gotten certain parts of the beds have turned anaerobic, and you know, where nothing will grow, or if they plant something there, it won't grow. It's just like, I'm here, you know. But my fish are jumping back there. I think I'm gonna feed them. They're like, you're here. Why aren't you eating? The ones right behind me too. You know, they're jumping around. Like, why aren't you putting food in the tank? You know, but when there's too much of a buildup of worms, and sometimes they build up. They mate and they reproduce. They lay their eggs in the aquaponic system, and they build up, and there gets to be too many worms in there. Most of the time, they'll crawl from one tank to the other tank, or fall out on the ground. Sometimes they build up a little too much. You know, hey, that's it's free seafood, free fish food. The big fish, they really don't like the worms. If I was to dry them out, pulverize them, mix them with vegetables, I could probably get them to eat them. But as far as adolescents and fry, they'll tear up the worms and the caterpillars and the grasshoppers. I mean, they're more of a high protein carnivores, you know, when they're small. And actually, I'm spreading out right now because my fish are getting too big for the tanks that they're in, so I need to thin them out. And I was wondering what that dripping noise was, but so anyway, so about the worms again. So about the anaerobic, anaerobic areas, they keep that from happening. So when there's too many of them, I feed them to the fish. You know, feed them to the baby fish. And if I don't feed them to the baby fish, I'll put them in my potted plants, or I grow worms. We have worm containers where we grow the worms, and actually, the other day I was stealing worm castings out of it, and I was like, they were just so good about producing worm castings, and actually, I need to get to where I divide them up and add more growers, because they really have turned that dirt like solid black. And I put compost and newspaper in there, and they were just tearing it up. But I was putting it for my seedlings and certain seedlings that I'm planting, and which you'll see on Spring Seed series. We're going to go through some difficult plants that we're going to be planting. You know, we're going to plant rice. We're going to plant tobacco. We're going to plant, you know, all the difficult things you're like, well, I don't even know how to start that. We're going to start some stevia from seeds. We're going to start some herbs from seeds, some, you know, the difficult herbs. We're going to discuss the temperatures they need to stay. We're going to start the growing conditions that they need to have. And sorry, I was a little distracted. But we're going to go through all of that, and when we go to the spring seed series, because I'm planting the seeds anyway, and I thought, well, what's wrong with having a 2 or 3 minute video to show y'all how I plant seeds and what we produce on a regular basis. This year we're growing, I'm going to say roughly about 100 tomato plants. So they all be single stem. About 50% of them be grafted, because I want to show the difference of grafted and not grafted on a grand scale. So, you know, one right beside each other, grafted, non-grafted, grafted, non-grafted. And so the conditions are different. So people can't say, well, the conditions were different being one end of the greenhouse or the other end of the greenhouse. But anyway, that's the future about the spring seed series. It's a tongue twister, but we got lots of things. Chris is going to help me out with those. We also have another video coming with the collaboration that Rain Country Homestead is having. She's doing medicinal herbs, and Krista is going to be doing that video on medicinal herbs that we grow. I think she's focusing on one particular. We could go through about 30, but one particular that she really wants to get the emphasis out there about this one particular plant that we grow. Let me think. Oh, the event. Yo, the Homestead Event. www.thehomesteadevent.com, and you can go there. You can see all the guests. We have some wonderful guests coming. We got American Homestead. We got Full Spectrum Survival. We got Big Bear Homestead. We got Alderman Farms. We got JJ Acres. We have Daryl Patton, the herbalist. We have Tom Manor Paratrooper, Simply Circus, Empty Hammock. And that's just the beginning of the people we're going to have to teach y'all, to share their knowledge with y'all. Plus, you get to come and meet everybody and mingle with everybody and see that we're all just normal people. We're just trying to, trying to help and trying to share. So, but so y'all come to the event. Go to the website, pre-register. Get ready for this, because there's going to be a maximum. I mean, there's only going to be a maximum number of people that we can possibly accommodate. So get in before the maximum hits, because I can't promise there's going to be 1-day tickets or 4-day tickets left by the time of the event. So get in there early, check out the website, and see what you think. Tell me what you think in the comments too, because I know Brad has worked really hard on that website, and he's done a great job as far as I think that. I'm number one on there. I don't think I deserve to be number one on there, but I was like, hey, I'm number one on there. Okay, well, that's okay. I mean, there's a lot which I feel are a lot more knowledgeable should be up there, but it's just the order that it happened to happen. So, but that don't matter either. All right, guys, I hope to see y'all there at the event. But until then, I'll see you on my my daily videos. I try to put out 5 videos a week. I'll see you on my daily videos. But next week, I'll see you on Aquaponics on a Budget. And I hope when you start your aquaponics system that you put worms in there, because they're going to help you. All right, guys. Ani, okay, means I love you in Hebrew. Hey, guys.